Welcome to Capture the World with Dee. Interviews with companies and individuals to learn more about digitally capturing the built world. Video, drone, 3D tours, pictures, panoramas, and more. And now your host, a social influencer and community activist, Dee Johnson.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Capture the World with Dee. I'm your host, Dee Johnson. Today's episode is being sponsored by Casa, the makers of a revolutionary app that allows you to scan a property in under 5 minutes using your mobile device. You get a professional floor plan in less than one business day. So if you haven't tried it out yet, go to cubi.casa, that's cubi.casa, and start scanning today. My guests today are the co-founders of Studeo, the world's first interactive storytelling platform for real estate and much, much more. They're an exciting couple and they're so much fun to be with. I'm sure you're going to love what they have to say. So without further ado, please help me welcome Nir and Rebecca. Hi guys, thanks for
Hey,
Hi,
joining.
thanks, Dee.
How are you?
We're good. How are
doing
you
well.
today?
I'm doing well, trying to stay healthy.
Yeah,
All right, so let's start out by having you guys tell us a little bit more about your background, your story, and how this company Studeo became.
Sure, I'll start first. So, I mean, depending on how far back you want to go, this company, the genesis of this really began almost 10 years ago when I was still running my advertising agency. And at the time, I was working in downtown Toronto in an office with a number of different designers who were creating, different types of creative pieces for different clients that we had. And, I sort of took a look at the real estate industry and I recognized that the quality of the content that was being produced for some of the biggest brands in the world for products that were only a few $100s was far superior to the stuff that was being produced in the real estate industry. And I said, well, we need to do something about that. And I had my designers sort of cook up some templates and create some different sort of mock-ups of things, but nothing really became of that. We were just sort of experimenting at the time. I later shut down my company to go back to school and pursue graduate studies in math at the University of Toronto. And I basically was always kind of tinkering with this concept of creating a sort of a template builder or some sort of an online representation of a real estate brochure, something that would be a bit more immersive, a bit more experiential. In that time, over the years up until around 2012, Rebecca and I were kind of always bouncing this idea around and kind of looking at different ways that we could productize that and build a real platform out of it. And it was in early 2012 that we just took our very first steps at building out the product and kind of getting the very first MVP started so that we could get it out to market and see what people thought.
doing digital product development. I was also back at school doing an MBA in technology and innovation management.
Long way in that time. I mean, one of the things that we initially were considering was just to create something that was more print focused, but very, very quickly pivoted and realized that the way the market was going, everything was becoming more and more of an online thing. And so there was a need to take the product and to really start with a digital first and a mobile first type of strategy. And in that time, we really kind of understood that the storytelling platform we ended up building, which is what we never really sought out to build a storytelling platform. We kind of ended up doing it by accident.
We
And
sculpted it in that direction.
we sculpted
Yeah.
in that direction, and what we started to realize is that, oh my god, this interactive storytelling concept is such a rich universe of possibilities that it's so much richer than just real estate. I mean, there's literally no story you can't tell on our platform today.
Yeah.
And as you certainly will see with some of the examples we'll show the audience today, there's so many different things that you can express within the context of a platform that we've
And
created.
we came from a design background and technology, and we really fused together many different kind of experiences and education backgrounds and lines of thinking into kind of this really unique integration of many, many different things. That is quite beautiful. But one thing that we realized early on is when you design things in the right way, and you create an emotive experience that's driven by storytelling, the more we went in that direction, the engagement metrics of people looking at that content just shot way up in a way that we were like, oh my God, there's something here.
Yep. Yeah. So, yeah, your product is definitely different and is very cool. So, tell us more.
Yeah, so I think the concept of storytelling is really the sort of the key idea that we embody. And when we looked at the online sort of content that people were producing in real estate and even beyond, a lot of the challenges with that is that you're asking people to take in lots of different pieces of information, different types of media, but it has to be organized in a particular way to make it sort of useful for a human being. And when I say useful, I mean more than just providing you with details and information, but to be able to affect me emotionally, to be able to give me a real feeling of what it is that I'm going to be buying, whether it's a house or a new pair of shoes, whatever it is, it doesn't matter.
Mm.
We human beings, we always buy with our emotions first, and then we rationalize it to ourselves with the facts afterwards. That's
Yes.
really how it is.
But
Even
if
though we
you,
don't want to admit that,
yeah, I
that's
mean,
that's literally how it is.
I mean, think about other brands, and I think really one of the things that really make us unique and why our company's so unique is we came from other industries. We didn't start in real estate. We came from really understanding how brand strategy and marketing works. And that human story behind marketing. If you think about Coca-Cola, they don't sell sugar water. They sell the lifestyle of Coke. If you look of Nike, they're not selling shoes. They're selling a dream of what you could be.
Yeah.
And so it's really no different in real estate. You're not selling hardwood floors and crown molding. You're selling someone's next stage of life. There's a reason why somebody's moving. There's a story in their life that's causing them to move, and then they're going to create new memories, new experiences. This is a human journey, and if you don't realize that, then you're going to get stuck in the features of a house.
Yeah.
If you do realize that, then all of a sudden the world opens up and you can tell this amazing, engaging story in a way that really captures kind of human imagination.
Yeah. I want to be able to visualize myself in the backyard barbecuing, right? With
Well,
my
exactly,
family. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not about the lot size. It's about what are you going to do once you're there? Who are you going to invite over? I mean, at the moment, you're not going to invite anyone over, but um, but you want to think about the dinner parties you're going to host and the birthday parties and the quiet moments together with your family. All of those things you want to capture as human moments, not as
Yeah.
as features on a list.
I'm just wondering, should we be maybe taking the audience through some examples? I can go
Yes.
ahead and share my screen. Perfect. Let me
Perfect.
do that. Okay, 1 second here. And is my screen coming through? Can you guys
Yes.
see clearly?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
thank you.
perfect. Okay, great. So, just a quick sort of example here of something that, a lot of people who are interested in luxury real estate. I know I certainly love looking at, I certainly can't afford any, but I always love going online and checking out beautiful homes all over the world. And so, whether we're selling luxury high-end properties or we're selling regular run-of-the-mill residential real estate, at the end of the day, there's still a very deeply meaningful kind of human moment there that needs to be brought to life. And so whether we're showing people this floor plan and the space and sort of articulating to them the story of what that home has to offer, or we're taking them through the different rooms and showing the different ways in which those different contexts, can lend themselves to use. Whether it's cooking, whether it's playing in the backyard with their dog, whether it's walking to the local park with their kids, it's to really about humanizing that experience for people, because as Rebecca said, that's what makes people buy, right? It's that feeling and that connection that they have with the space and everything it has to offer them.
And I mean, I totally get everyone understands that pictures really matter and visuals really matter. I think the next stage of that is not just saying, here's a dump of photos, but here's the story. And so when you organize or package that content in a story, what you're doing is you're removing the need to think about things. Right. So when you're separating content, you're making the end user have to read this big paragraph of text, often in all caps for some reason. I'm not sure why that is. And then you have to go to kind of a separate section to look at this dump of photos. And then you're kind of thinking, okay, well, I'm going to read the description again, and I'm going to try and match. I have to go and find the photo that represents what I just read so I can understand the full picture. When you tell a story and you match text and images together and you bring media into it, all of a sudden you remove the need to do all that cognitive work, and then someone can just experience it, and the emotions will then flow through. And that's really why storytelling works. And actually there's a lot of science behind storytelling. There's a reason why it works. As human beings, we're wired to respond to that storytelling format. Every time you come home from work, and you connect with your spouse, you're telling them a story about your day. You're not listing off the tasks that you completed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's an example of drone flyover video. Again, video is something that we love. We personally think video is one of the most powerful storytelling mediums out there. One of the challenges with video on its own, though, is that it is a passive medium. It requires you to sit there and watch. And the biggest thing with that is that, oftentimes you'll see with videos that after about 45 seconds to a minute, you get a pretty significant drop off of people who are no longer watching the video. And the reason for that is we have to keep people in an active rather than a passive state if we want to engage them online, especially if we're looking to convert. If we put a lead capture form on here or a chat window or any kind of CTA that we want the user to take, we have to be able to maintain that active state, because otherwise people just drop off. I mean, the attention spans of the average consumer today are, decreasing rapidly. And so we need to make sure that there's always something there to click, whether it's turning the pages, whether it's a 360 tour, turning on a video, or even just taking in a sound effects on something like you're about to see here with the fireplace.
Oh, cool.
Right? That feeling, that warm, cozy feeling, right? That's what we're selling. We're not selling the house. We're not selling the square footage. We're selling the warm, cozy feeling. And we're selling the projection for that person of what their family and their loved ones are all going to experience when they come to visit them, in this house.
So, do you have actual statistics or proof or examples of when people put a house for sale and use the storybook?
Not with respect to putting a house for sale when they use the storybook. Nothing that wide, because you need a lot of data points for something like that, because different markets move at different velocities. But definitely we have stats where we've A/B tested. So a fair experiment is to take the content, put it on a landing page or a traditional virtual tour, and take the exact same content and put it into a storybook.
Right.
And so, we're seeing insane, like 10 to 12 times more engagement in a lot of cases where, simply because you're telling a story, you're making it interactive, and the biggest part of all is that you're not allowing people to cheat. So with a virtual tour or a single property website, they can just scroll through whatever they want and ignore whatever they don't want. Here, they're forced into going through a particular linear sort of presentation of a topic. They can't cheat. They can't jump ahead. And we're sort of teasing them, because by putting all these different cinemagraphs in here and different sound effects and what have you, we're sort of dangling a carrot saying, hey, what's next? Like, what other cool things are you going to discover as you go through the storybook, right? And that's a big reason why we can keep people engaged for longer. It's their natural curiosity to see, what other things will they be delighted to explore within the context of the storybook.
Yeah, and I like how you can do video, pictures. There's just cool.
Make a splash, right? We're looking to make a splash.
Cool.
And it's quite versatile. Like, I know we showed a Matterport earlier, but there's really no restrictions on the kind of 360 technology that you want to use. Any kind of, obviously responsive media, like a 360 that's, this one's transported.io. There's lots of different companies out there today in the visualization space. And so any one of those tours can be easily embedded within here, including the obvious free one, Google Street View. So if we have a street view that we want to incorporate on a property, maybe the facade of a building, or maybe a local park or local recreational community area that we want people to enjoy. In fact, a really big part of this is telling the story of the community. It's not just the home.
Yep.
Not just that, it's the surrounding milieu, the surrounding context of what makes that home, really accessible to people, makes, the living part of living really, sort of tangible for them. Is the community, right? Everything they have that's going on in that location.
Yep. You can include information about schools that would feed into the home, which is important if you're a parent.
Yep. In fact, so some people are even creating storybooks now that are just centered around community. So if you're a real estate brokerage or a real estate team or even a hotel or a local tourism bureau, you really need to be sharing hyper local content. You really need to be demonstrating to people what that area, what that community has to offer. And so people are creating this type of content and even licensing it out. I certainly have photographers who are licensing this stuff out and just creating it for a client, and then just saying, hey, anyone who wants to use this and stick their branding on it, this is another way for them to monetize the content they already own.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
I saw one too for a restaurant, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, let me bring that up actually, just so we can see that as well. So, restaurants, local businesses, gyms, hair salons, nail salons, every
Oh,
single
yeah,
local
yep.
business has a story to tell. There's always an amazing story there, whether it's the food that's being created or the story of what made that proprietor, that owner, you know, decide to make the big choice to
Hmm.
go out and, build a business, right? There's always a story there for people to tell. And so you could do things like video, documentary
We
interviews.
have quite a few signature dishes which people love. I mean, we have lamb shank. It's a nully Rogan Josh, which is one of our most popular and favorite.
And then you can go in there and actually, really bring to life the action shots using cinemagraphs. And cinemagraphs are really a wonderful tool for visual storytelling. They're sort of the kind of the meat and potatoes of a story, I always say, with our product, because they just kind of create little moments of experience for people, whether it's, seeing the barkeep pour that drink there, or, whether it's, you'll see here in a moment, some of the food prep shots, which are really, really dramatic and beautiful,
Yeah, cool.
you know?
Wow, just hearing that. Man, now I'm hungry.
Exactly. Well, that's what
We get that feedback a lot,
we
which
get
is
that a
actually
lot.
the point, right?
Yeah. So I mean, if you're selling online, especially now with the current situation in the world, everything is becoming more and more virtualized. It was
Mhm.
already getting virtualized. It's just that this situation, unfortunately or fortunately for for businesses, is accelerating that trend. Is making it more and more something that people need to be doing online. And so there is a need to sort of create this type of content
Mhm.
to help local businesses who are really struggling right now. They need,
Mhm.
really great ways of connecting with their audiences, whether they're selling gift certificates or whether they're selling any kind of delivery or takeout service or whatever it is really that they're offering their customers.
Mhm.
They need to be creating motivation for those folks online. And so this is why a product like this makes so much sense right now,
Yeah.
because that's the way things are going.
Yep. All right, so if you want to see more examples, you can go to their webpage. It's studiohq.com,
Yep.
and that's spelled STUDEOHQ, the letter H, letter Q.com. And you've got a bunch of examples on your website.
Yep.
That's right.
So if you're a residential real estate photographer, or even if you're a residential real estate agent and you want to make your listings look different, check this out. Here you go. Or like Teddy just said, people should be paying attention to this. It's true. This is exciting new stuff, and I think it's the way of the future. And everybody that I've spoken to about it has been super excited. So
Yeah,
yeah.
we've gotten incredible feedback, and we love working on this. We're a very small but dedicated and hardworking and smart team,
Mhm.
and we're constantly making the product better, constantly innovating, constantly evolving it further. Our customers get all the benefits of all of that hard work and thinking as we evolve and just keep making it even more robust and even more
Mhm.
amazing.
Yeah, that's terrific. Actually, you and Near are very fun to work with. So
Thank
it's
Thank
you.
you.
true. Everything you say is true. All right, so let's talk about the special offer that you
Yeah,
have.
absolutely. So basically, we have the ability to give any photographer access to the platform for all their customers. So basically, they would create a sort of a master reseller account for them that would
Okay.
give them access to create different user accounts. They could change the logos for their customers. They can actually create their own custom storybooks where they would change the layouts on the different pages. So if they don't like the particular flow that we've created here in some of these examples you've seen here, they can actually change the layouts of the different pages. We have different layouts that they can mix and match and build their own storybook, however way they like to do it. And essentially, that's normally $199 per month, but for your audience, we're basically giving it at $49 per month on a 12-month subscription, which is an amazing deal. So
Whoa.
yeah,
Sweet.
75% off. So basically, if you commit for the full year, we'll give you access, unfettered access to the platform. You can create as many storybooks as you like. There's no limit. So if you have 100 customers, 500, 1,000, 20, 50, we don't care how many you do. Included with that is some support from a support ticket standpoint, and you have access to our knowledge base as well to learn more about how to use this builder, which is quite simple to use. Actually, I can do a quick quick show of that.
Yeah,
Give me
so
one
that's
second.
the other thing I like is that you have templates because my first reaction was, oh my gosh, how do I create my own story? Because I'm not really that smart. But you have these templates. It's all done for you. I was like, oh
Yeah, it's really
yeah.
simple.
The point of this is to be able to create agency quality stuff without needing a graphic designer,
Exactly.
without needing to know how to really do much with this media other than import it into our system. So you're really just copying and pasting direct links to MP4s for cinemagraphs and videos. You can import your gallery of photos and just build it by dragging and dropping like
Yep.
this. Our system in the back end will take care of all of the production work that would normally be required to produce something like this. So it's really
Yep.
easy for the average person who doesn't have the time or necessarily the background to produce something this beautiful can do it in our platform. And we're really here to build an opportunity for photographers who want to create a new revenue stream for themselves, want to be able to have an added layer of service that they can offer their different customer base, and make it a really streamlined, easy process for them to be able to do it.
Yeah, I just want to add a couple things to what Rebecca was saying. In terms of streamline and ease of use, like there's a lot of sort of automation built into the platform. So you'll notice that this video here, I can copy and paste the link into there. And if you hit crop to fit, the AI will automatically crop the video to fit the aspect ratios for both the mobile and the desktop versions. And then also similarly, the slideshows you saw, the gallery that we just went into here, every single image in that slideshow is going to get cropped by the artificial intelligence. You don't actually have to go in here and crop all these photos. The AI is smart enough to smart crop everything. So
Yeah, it's
just
so
time savers like that,
yeah.
like things that we can make things easier for photographers.
It's easy for people like me, like who don't know how who I was like, holy cow, that's really nice, but there's no way I could come up with that. So you've done all the work for me. It's literally like copy paste. It's
Yeah,
Correct. Yes.
yeah.
exactly. It's copy paste, and even as Rebecca was saying, there's another service layer here for photographers that they can charge money for, which is assembly. Right? There's media capture. That's what
Mhm.
we already do and get paid to do. But then there's the added value of taking that media, whether you've captured it yourself or whether perhaps your client has provided that to you already. Maybe they already had content that was sitting around, or maybe you already had content that was sitting around and you wanted to remonetize it and turn it into a storybook. The actual assembly of the content has value almost in and of itself. And so that's another service that you can charge money for, because by packaging things in this format, you're creating a better result than just the things on their own.
Yep, exactly. Wow, that's pretty exciting. So again, studiohq.com, studeo.com. We will put links to all this in the comment section or in the description after we're done here. And we'll add the offer that they've just made, which is terrific. I mean, that's a really nice offer. So, yeah, definitely try it out, take a look at it. It's super exciting. Everybody I've talked to who knows about this is super excited. I think this would set a photographer apart from everybody else. And right now, while you're home, this is something you should be learning and looking into.
Yep.
All right. Anything else to share with
Um,
us?
Actually, I'll share one last little detail. I think I'll go into the Open Boulevard sort of to give a bit of a preview of what's coming from us
Ooh,
in the near
okay.
future. So we have some very cool sort of proprietary technology that we've developed that's actually patent pending, that we have the ability to take essentially data, unstructured data, or loosely structured data from in this case, an MLS data feed, and actually be able to auto-generate storybooks
Whoa.
from that data feed in a
Mhm.
fully automated manner. So basically, imagine your local MLS, all the photos in that local MLS, and media being brought into a storybook in an automated way, and then also having stock clips, because we have a pretty robust stock library,
Uh-huh.
sort of added in and injected in automatically to build out that story without requiring human intervention. Now, obviously, at the moment we're doing it from MLS data feeds. The plan is in the future to take the Dropbox or Google Drive, that the photographer provides with all of their media, and to be able to do basically the same thing. So, you know, one day soon, we're hoping for just a process where you don't even have to drag and drop anything in, where a photographer will just give us the access to their media,
Wow.
And then
Whoa.
a machine does the initial pass, and it's
Uh-huh.
like 90% or 95% of the way there. And then you as a human being, as a photographer, just go in there and augment and tweak the things that the machine has done for you. And so really just to kind of make the workflow that much more automated so that you can obviously just kind of bring us the media and then have the storybooks auto-generated for you.
Wow. And then the next step would just be reading people's minds.
Yeah.
And then the step
Yeah,
after that.
we're not into that stuff. No, definitely not into that
Well, then the
stuff.
To be honest, I don't think I want to know.
No, I don't think so either. I think some things are better left unsaid.
But the step after that would be bringing that cocktail and that food, that lamb shank, to out of my
Yep.
screen so I can just grab it and eat
So
it.
you could just grab it. Well, with AR, with augmented reality, who knows, right? Maybe we'll have smell vision as well, where we'll just be able to smell the internet. Who knows, right? So I
Hey.
have one last thing to share here with what's coming up. So this is actually, basically as a direct result of that automation you just saw. This is a consumer portal that we're currently launching in some cities in the U.S. and Canada, most notably Toronto, which is where we're from. And really, what this is it's Open Boulevard. It's a consumer-based storytelling portal. So now you've got local photographers in every market, and they're creating content. They're creating content for local businesses. They're creating content for local real estate companies. And so what we want to do is to really showcase all the storybooks in a single place. So again, using AI, local businesses can sign in through Instagram. They can basically, send off access to the content, and then the AI basically goes ahead and builds the storybook, adds in their Google Places data. And so we have this scalable way now of basically introducing for every local business a basic unbranded 6-page storybook. And then what photographers can do is they can upgrade them. They can go out there, make the storybook longer, add their branding, add in a video interview with the owner, a Matterport or 360 tour, whatever 360 tour you like.
Behind the scenes cinemagraphs.
Behind the scenes cinemagraphs, really kind of make that story more robust for them. So essentially what we want to do is kind of create an opportunity for photographers and say, hey guys, we've already done this for free for local businesses. If you want to upgrade them, if you want to try and get in front of them and say, hey, we can drive a campaign here for you and make you more money, it helps to justify the sort of expense from their perspective to try to add more media to the storybook that's already there.
Wow, cool. Wow. So, all right. We can stop sharing now.
Yep.
Wow, Rebecca and Nir, thank you so much for joining. Your
Thank you for
product
having
is
us.
absolutely wonderful, and I hope that everybody's learned a lot from watching. It's been a great half an hour, so thank you. All right, so if there's any tech or product or company that you want to know more about, let me know in the comment section below. Thank you everybody for joining us. This has been Capture the World with Dee. See you next week. Bye everyone.
Bye.